Hello, hello, hello. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening from Helsinki, Finland. My name is Magdalena Bruce and I want to welcome you all here. It's my pleasure to inform you that we have over 300 people from 5 different continents registered to this hackathon, and we want to thank each and every one of you for being here with us today.
300 people, that is crazy. Welcome everybody, I'm Stephanie, I'm so happy to see you here. Let's introduce the team.
And hello also from my side. My name is Jasper, I come from the team Junction, and I'm also very happy and delighted to welcome you all to this amazing event to hack this noble cause.
Thanks, Stephanie. Thanks, Jasper. So once again, we are pleased to welcome you here at Hack the Arctic, a weekend-long hackathon event full of data, programming, and hard work, but also hopefully fun, where you will learn new things, you will meet our skilled mentors and maybe new friends. And we just really hope that you will have fun and enjoy this event. The three of us, me, Stephanie, and Jasper, we are representing here the 4 organizations, the main organizers of this event. ICOS, the Integrated Carbon Observation System, then ENVRI, the Community of Environmental Research Infrastructures, and INAR, the Institute for Atmospheric and Earth System Research. And so who we are interdisciplinary research organizations and networks that are facilitating a top-level Earth system science. So I'm sure that you all know that our planet, the planet Earth, is facing many challenges. And to be able to face these challenges, we really need to know how to make good solutions. We need to have a knowledge of how the Earth functions as a one system. And for that, our organizations have behind them a broad community of awesome scientists who observe the Earth and gather super important data that are helping us to get that knowledge about the Earth system functioning. And today you will be able to use some of this super data and to respond to the challenges related to Arctic. All of you know that Arctic is super important area when it comes to climate change. So we hope that you will play with the data and find some solutions to our challenges. But before going to the challenges, I would still like to introduce you Junction, a not-to-profit company from Helsinki, Finland, that is facilitating this hackathon. They are like super experienced, so thank you, Junction, for having us. And I would also like to introduce you our partners. I will not go into detail about every one of them, but we have 8 partners. Please, Umbrella, go visit their booths, have chat with the mentors, and find out what kind of data and services these partners are providing, because they are the best to tell you this in more detail. And now, Stephanie, please tell us something about the challenges we have set for this hackathon, and of course, let's not forget about the prizes. The best of you can win.
Thank you, Magdalena, so much. I'm so excited again to see all of you here. But first, let's start. Why the Arctic? Why is this Arctic themed? The Arctic has been serving as a global alarm for climate change. Now, we know that the Arctic is warming up at a faster speed than anywhere else on Earth, but it's not just about polar bears. We know that the polar bears are very famous and they serve as the poster child for the Arctic, but the Arctic is much more than that. We're talking about a region where local peoples and their livelihoods and traditions are being affected because of this change. But at the same time, we are also going to be seeing a migration towards the Arctic because it's going to be opening more and more to new industries and to tourism, for example. On the other hand, the Arctic landscape itself is changing, but whatever happens in the Arctic does not stay in the Arctic. And my funny hat is falling. What happens in the Arctic will actually have a consequence around the world, as we've heard, for example, sea level rise. That is why we're really focused on the Arctic. And what's also quite interesting or peculiar about the Arctic is that it's spanning this northern latitude regions, going around the world, covering 7 Arctic nations. So you'll actually have data from different, from around the world. So you have data from Russia, from Northern Europe, and from North America, which is super cool. And that's one of the beautiful things about science. And actually, now that we're also putting it in the context of a hackathon, that these platforms allow us to bring together different people from different backgrounds, different skills, to come together towards a common goal, such as the challenges that we have for you tonight, which are the 5 hackathon challenges. So let's hear them. The first challenge is map the Arctic data. Now, as you probably saw already, and you will see, we have so much data. We're a lot of scientists trying to understand that really vast, very heterogeneous region of the Arctic. But we have observations here and there, everywhere. But we have to actually look and see, how much do we have, where is it, and what are the gaps? And from the data that we already have, what can we conclude with it? But we really have to first sit down and put it all together to have an overview of what is there and what is missing. So we're hoping that you can help us in that challenge. Now, challenge number 2 and 3 are quite similar. Can you use the data to make a new service that will serve society or policymaking? Now, for example, this year with the COVID pandemic, we have seen how important it is to have data-driven decision-making. And this is a really clear example of how we have to get together and base our actions on data. So this is where it's so important to get data into policymaking, and that's where you can help us. Can you make data more accessible for policymakers and decision makers? Or can you use data to make a service that will help society, either local Arctic society or in general towards the Arctic region? And the 4th team is specific to Svalbard, that beautiful Norwegian island of Svalbard. Now, one of our partners, CEOS, for example, is focused on network from data from Svalbard. So they will be great with you in this specific challenge, but there's Svalbard data from other partners as well. Can you play around with the data? Can you tell us what's particular about Svalbard? Can you tell us what's happening in Svalbard? Anything goes in that challenge. And the last challenge, and it's probably my favorite, well, no, it's not my favorite, I like all of them, but it's science visualization. Now, I love science communication. So in this challenge, you are free to visualize data. Can you help us make a story, or can you take those data, those numbers, those graphs, and make it more meaningful for other people, for other audiences? Can you make them understandable for audiences? So this is where you can just have fun and visualize what that story that is hidden behind that data, pull it out and tell us what it's saying. So that's challenge number 5. Now, it's really also very cool for students. Everybody of you who's a student, you will get a student certificate afterwards. So it will detail the skills that you will earn or that you will develop throughout this weekend. So you can take that to your student service, and hopefully they will accept it. At least University of Helsinki, some of them have already agreed that they will count for 1 credit. So that's useful. But now for the prizes. Magdalena and Jasper. Whoa, let's hear about the prizes.
Please tell us, we cannot wait.
Yes, so we're really, really happy to say that ICEYE, the Finnish microsatellite company, has sponsored us and is with us tonight to give a prize to the first 3 teams of this weekend. So prize number 3 is 250 euros. Prize number 2 is 500 euros for the second team. And the first prize, not only bragging rights, an amazing reputation afterwards, but you will get 1,000 euros plus you can pick anywhere in the world, and their constellation of satellites will take an image and will give it to you in high resolution anywhere in the world so that you can put it on your living room. Magdalena, which place in the world would you choose?
Wow, that's a tough question. I would probably choose the place of my childhood in the Beskidi Mountains. I think that would be awesome to look at and have some memories.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. Already maps and satellite images and all that, they're really, really nice. People like them on their living rooms. But I think that specifically that you chose it, and it's like a place on Earth. It's not just like it's not Google Earth. It's not a photograph. It's from up there, and you have it in your living room. It's really awesome. I know that a lot of us, the organizers, were like saying, can we also have that gift, because it's so cool. So thank you, ICEYE. That is super cool. The winners will also get, the first prize winners will also get tickets to go to the Heureka Science Museum in Finland. But that's not all. We are also having a fun competition. So for all of you out there that are social media lovers, we will have a social media competition with #HackTheArctic. So throughout the weekend until Saturday, I think you will have more information in the umbrella. You can take pictures of your hacking workspace, because unfortunately we can't be together, so we can't see each other, and it would be really nice if you could kind of let us into your space and let us in to how you're working, and hopefully we'll bring a sense of community together. So if you could take a picture of that, and if you can like deck the halls and put a bit of sprinkly Arctic and snowflakes and I don't know, maybe spills water as a melting Arctic, unfortunately, I don't know, but however it is you want to decorate it, and then take a picture, put it on Twitter or put it on Instagram, #HackTheArctic, and we will at the end collect them all, and you will have time to vote for your favorite pictures, and the winners will get a packet of Taiga chocolates. They're Finnish, vegan, sustainably sourced chocolates. So that's great. They're bilberry, berries, nice dark chocolate, Finnish chocolate. So that's one of my favorites as well. And before we move on to your technical details, I want to say that we would also have a virtual coffee room. So if you go to Brella and if you go to the right side of your screen, you will be able to see a tab that says virtual coffee room. There we will able to gather throughout the weekend, 24/7. It's going to be open. You can go there and interact with each other. So just go there, you'll have a little avatar, like a little game, and you will be able to meet each other, have a video of each other, and be able to talk to each other face to face. That's also a great place if you want to talk to a mentor, and the schedules are already full or they're not available at your times, because of course we know we have participants from everywhere in the world. So we're really, really happy. Unfortunately, we can't accommodate all these working hours, but if you want to go there, I'm happy to be there 24/7. If you don't sleep, I don't sleep. So just let me know, put it in chat, and I'll be in the virtual room. Let's have a coffee together. I'm happy to do this. A lot of the mentors are happy to do this. So let's do that. So with more details about Brella, Jasper, can you please tell us more?
It would be my pleasure, Stephanie. Thank you. So at this point, you all should have received an email on instructions on how to join Brella. And if you haven't yet joined Brella, the workspace, please do it now, as all the kind of concrete information and challenges and mentors and the awesome coffee room that Stephanie mentioned are all happening there. Also, after this ceremony, we will first have an awesome keynote speech. And after that, we will be having a team building session on which instructions can also be found in Brella. So please do remember to join the Brella for all the cool stuff and instructions for the weekend. Also, in this hackathon, we need you to do a draft submission by midnight today. The point of the draft submission is for us to kind of see what cool challenges you have chosen and see the kind of division between the participants. So please remember to do that. There will be a reminder later on, but remember, midnight today, a draft submission is needed from you. And if you have any further questions regarding the event on the technical side or whatever that the mentors don't potentially know how to answer, we have a Ask the Organizers booth in Brella as well, where we will be hanging around 24/7 answering all your practical questions regarding the event, and we're more than happy to help. But now, let's have a fantastic weekend and go and hack and save the Arctic areas. And without further ado, now it's time for the actual keynote from Tuukka Petäjä.
Woo! Have fun, hack around, see you in Brella.
Enjoy!
Woo!
Thanks, Stephanie, Magdalena, and Jasper for the opportunity to speak. Let's see. I'll share my screen. Oops, not that one. Okay, I hope somebody confirms that they see the screen.
Yes.
Very good. So good evening, everyone. My name is Tuukka Petäjä, and I'm a professor in University of Helsinki in the Inara Institute. And I'm of course honored to actually speak to you about challenges and opportunities in terms of the observations in the Arctic. And I think it was very clear from Stephanie and Magdalena that actually we are in a very dramatic situation in terms of the sustainability of the Earth as a whole. And for example, the United Nations has set up these Sustainable Development Goals that include many aspects, including climate action and other very important points. And this is just to ensure and make it possible for us to work towards a sustainable Earth. And the Arctic is very key as Stephanie said, as an indicator of, for example, climate change. So the Arctic is changing very rapidly and twice at the rate of the global average. And our world is in the state that we are using more and more resources, natural resources, and we are causing environmental problems. And actually, we are outside of the safe operating space for humanity in many aspects. In terms of climate change, for example, the greenhouse gas emissions are too high. We are heating the planet. And then there is environmental problems that we actually are not yet quantified how relevant, how important, or how bad is the situation in terms of the atmospheric aerosol load, for example, for the sustainability. So this is where we need observations, and we need to understand what's going on with the world. The challenges that I will be speaking now, they are different types of, they are not in that sense the same as the challenges that Stephanie was saying. The challenges that I speak are the grand challenges that are making our life on Earth more and more difficult, and they are, for example, the climate change, air quality problems in the urban areas, the availability of fresh water for humans and for agriculture, for example. We are losing a lot of biodiversity because of anthropogenic activities, and of course these rise of epidemic diseases, what we are right now living through. So all of these are very serious challenges for our world and for us. And but the key issue actually is that when we tackle these grand challenges, we cannot really look at them one by one. When we try to solve the climate change, we might involuntarily make the air quality worse, or when we improve the air quality, we actually can harm the climate. So we need to look at these grand challenges in an integral way, and all of them together. And this is where we need the observations to support us to understand what is going on with the Earth. So we need observations, for example, in terms of climate change, that provide the full picture of the radiative forcing. So the heating greenhouse gases, we need to know the concentrations of greenhouse gases. We need to know the concentration of black carbon, which is a warming aerosol component. And then we need to know also the concentrations of the sulfate aerosol, which is typically cooling the climate. We need to know the ecosystems, how they function in different conditions, in different environments. So we need this framework where these observations are done in the same place at the same time, 24 hours per day, 7 days a week throughout the year. And we need to co-locate these observations in same places where we look at the integrated that provides us integrated view on the conditions in the atmosphere and in the Earth system as a whole. The in situ observations which we do on the ground, they are not the only component. They are very important in terms of providing the ground truth for satellite observations. And the satellite observations, on one hand, provide a spatial variability of for example, the composition of the atmosphere, or how the different terrains or ecosystem types are distributed on the globe. And together with the satellites and ground-based observations, we need modeling, different types of models, process level models, up to the Earth system models, which and even the digital twin of the Earth, so that we understand how these different observations can be integrated together, and then the models also allow us to make predictions what happens in the future in different scales. And these models, of course, need to be validated based on the observations on the ground and from the satellites. One of the sources of observations and data is this in situ ground-based observation sites, and our super site, the flagship station in University of Helsinki, is our SMER2 station in Hytiälä, Finland, where we measure over 1,200 different variables and contribute to these European harmonized observation networks. For example, ICOS, which is one of the organizers of the event. So the greenhouse gases are contributing to the ICOS network. Then we contribute to ACTRIS network, which is for aerosols, clouds, and trace gases, and also ANAE and ELTER, which are then ecosystem components. So we need to co-locate these observations, because we get added value of these large data sets when we look at them together. And one of the scientifically, to me, the most important aspect on long-term observational data is to look at feedbacks and interactions between the different components of the Earth system. And this is a quite complex figure, but I'll just walk you through it. So on the left-hand side, you see CO2. So we have more and more CO2 in the atmosphere because of the anthropogenic emissions. What that actually leads to is increase in photosynthetic activity, or the gross primary production of the biosphere. And the biosphere is actually emitting more and more of these volatile organic compounds, which is in practice the smell of the forest or smell of the nature. So monoterpenes, alpha-pinene, for example, you can smell them, these compounds, in the air when you walk in the forest. And when the temperature, the CO2 is increased, the emission of these volatiles is increased. And the emissions of volatiles lead to enhanced formation of atmospheric nanoparticles. And these nanoparticles actually are the nucleus for cloud formation. So they increase the cloud condensation nuclei concentrations, which lead to changes in properties of clouds and cloud droplet number concentrations. And this will make the clouds look different. So they increase the albedo of clouds, which actually is cooling the climate. So here we have a feedback mechanism that tries to cool down the climate. And this is one way of how the Earth as a whole tries to thermostat itself to the current conditions. So this feedback tries to mitigate climate change, and this is a natural process. There's another feedback mechanism here and at the bottom, which is related to how the photosynthetically active radiation changes, and that also tries to that feedback also tries to cool down the climate. So there is a lot of these feedback mechanisms that help us to tackle climate change. But of course, we don't know all of these mechanisms. And some of these feedback mechanisms can also be mechanisms that speed up the climate change. So in order to understand the net effect of all of these connections and feedbacks, we need long-term observations. And this is then what the hackathon is all about, to look at what do we see based on the observations. So keep an eye on these aspects while you browse and work with the data. One of the projects that I'm leading is iCube, which is comprehensive observations and understanding of the Arctic. And there's also a big data pool there from emerging and persistent organic pollutants, for example, in the Arctic environment, or data related to snow cover, and all of those are available for you in the hackathon. So have a look at the data, and of course we welcome. We are ready to help you there and collaborate with you to get new insights from our data. So my message is very simple. We need to commit ourselves for these comprehensive and continuous observations, because without taking the note what is going on in the world, we cannot really do anything. We cannot. It's very difficult to influence the decision making if you don't have the observations. So we need to monitor and measure what is going on in the nature and in the Earth system. We need to improve our methods. We need more and more better observations, and always develop our tools. And then we need to be active and open, work together, and be brave enough to tackle these grand challenges, because we are the people who we need to take the responsibility and work together for a better scientific understanding, and through that a better future, and to make sure that the Earth and as a whole will be back to the safe boundaries in terms of the sustainability. So thank you for your attention. I will stop here, and you can see my contact details there, and I will also be available for the QA session after the presentation. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Tuukka.